What's up, y'all? I'm Seth at Year One Organics. Today I wanted to share with you guys how I mix up my soil, all the components I put in it. It's all vegan, it's all organic. Let's get to it. Alright, so this is the soil mixture I use for all my plants, my vegetables, house plants, fruit trees, whatever, it really doesn't matter. So right here I got some organic peat moss. This is the brand I'm using right now because it's all the store had. Normally I like the, I think it's Down to Earth or something like that. Or it's 100% organic. I think it's a little more organic than this stuff. But this is one of the fertilizers I put in there, my NPK, one of the NPKs I use. I really like this stuff. It's got soybean meal, neem seed, alfalfa meal, rock phosphate, langabite, green sand, and kelp meal. I really like this stuff because I like to use the green sand. But one of the bad things about this, or that's a little sus, is that it has soybean meal. And if 96% of all the soybean in the world grown is GMO, then there's probably GMO soybean meal in there. But it's a lot better than using chicken manure or something like that. Because there's actually still pesticides and all types of other chemicals that the chickens eat and that doesn't get digested. And it goes right into your garden bed after that. This is some rock phosphate. And I put half a bag of peat moss in here. Probably about 35 pounds of peat. We'll just do 2 teaspoons of that. This stuff, I just take a little bit in there and just cover the top lightly, just to give the trees a little something to chew on. Because the main NPK, and there's a lot of trace minerals in this as well, is this right here. I add this to all my soil. It's worm castings, and it's also soldier fly castings. And I add charcoal in here and turn it into biochar, but the charcoal hasn't been sitting in here for a full month yet. So it's not fully activated, but I'm still gonna use it now because I need a little. And also recently, I just purchased some azomite. That stuff is really good. It has A to Z, all the trace minerals your trees need. It's just volcanic ash. And I'm gonna throw that stuff in my worm bins to make sure my worms are healthy. And I'm gonna give it to all my plants too. That has not came in yet. And now, since I'm not using perlite, what I have is mulch. And honestly, mulch works great for me. Breaks down and turns to sand, so you can still use it as like your aeration, same thing as perlite. But this stuff is already alive with soil life. Like you can see the mycelium right there. That's one of the reasons why I really like to use it, because it's already alive. And if you have living soil, your trees are just going to be so much happier. I don't use any chlorine water, because that kind of kills the soil life. And if you have that soil life, the tree just kind of can take care of itself, but I still give it lots of food. And I use a good bit of this stuff, and some of these bigger pieces I'll pull out as I'm mixing it up. I don't want those in there. So ideally you want to use a more fine mulch if you're not using perlite. And this is the mixture I've been using for over a year now. This is that worm casting and charcoal and soldier fly castings. And I feed all of them just a huge plethora of foods and nutrients. Put a little more mulch in there. Oh, look at this. Come over here. Look what's hiding in here. A blue-tailed skink. Look at that thing, beautiful. Let's see. Uh-oh. Hiding on me. Here she is right here. Try not to hurt you. Look at that beautiful blue tail. Blue purple. And this is a different type of rock phosphate that I haven't been using anymore, but I really like it, and every single time I would give it to my plants, I would always notice it turned to rock because it got wet. But that's good for the peat. It just adds more aeration. It's kind of like sand, so. So this is my finished soil mixture here, and I just want to talk a little more about it. So some of the reasons why this works and you can actually use it without using perlite with peat is because these wood chips, they actually do allow little air pockets in there, and over time these are going to break down, and it's a good source of carbon for your plant too, but these are going to break down and turn to sand, and that adds aeration. If you were worried about that, you could add a little bit of sand, but honestly, I feel like this works great. I've been using it for a long time. I have tons of plants, and it dries out pretty quickly still. And a lot of people, I see them going too heavy on the perlite, and their potting mix is just too light, and it dries out way too quick. This saves me a lot of water and a lot of time. One of the things I didn't share with you guys, I don't have an exact analysis on what my worm casting biochar mixture is, but I can show you this. This is the rock phosphate I'm using. You can see it's just derived from rock phosphate, and it's got 12% phosphate and 27% calcium. You don't want to go too heavy with calcium, you want to go light with it. But this is what's in that vegan mix if you guys are interested in. It's a lot better than animal products for sure. I was using this stuff when I first got started out because I didn't have enough worms going and enough compost going for me to feed all my trees. But pretty soon I'm gonna get it down to a science and take my stuff into a lab and get it tested to see what the nutrients are in there and everything. I'm gonna start making some special stuff for specific plants and really focusing on the trace minerals a lot in there. But once that azomite comes in, I'll definitely be good. I think that stuff will be really good to add to the worm bins and everything. I'm also growing some comfrey too. I just got some comfrey. That stuff has a really deep taproot, and it's great to put in your worm bin because it picks up lots of trace minerals from the ground with its deep taproot. Just adding, getting better. Something else I add a lot into my soil mixtures or for mulch is this. This is a nitrogen fixing plant. It's a Mexican sunflower. I've got that growing all over, and I plan on turning that into my wood chips eventually, but right now I'm just using oak wood chips. So that was probably a lot, but I know by me adding all these amendments to my soil mixture that I ensure my plant gets every nutrient they need, and I'm a bit of a nutritionist myself, and so I'm always making sure that my worms and my soldier flies have a healthy diet too, and I only eat USDA organic, so that's all my worms eat as well. And I try to make sure I put everything in there for them, but once I get the azomite and comfrey patch going, I'm sure I'll cover all the bases. But I'm growing so many trees and everything's happy. I'd say this stuff works great. So that's it for this video, everybody. I hope you learned something. I hope you maybe seen something you've never seen before. If anybody has any questions or any feedback for me, please go ahead and comment. I love to learn new things, and also I can help other people learn what I know. And I'm not an expert myself, but I am learning a lot and I do study a lot. That's it for this video, everybody. For all my growers out there, plant some seeds.